So, this is an official meeting here. And something that I should point out, they're all saying we should do something about this today, and that if it disappears with Marie in it, then she'll be erased from our memories, and, you know, like Cher's saying right now. But here's the thing, it's actually impossible to fail this dungeon. Like it or not, you will be rescuing Marie today. You have to finish this dungeon. Now, you might be asking, how is that possible if, like, you, the player, don't have enough resources for that? Well, this dungeon is kind of special. Basically, it's designed in such a way that there's no way to make it unwinnable today. No matter what state you go in. Unless you're, like, somehow got through Amenosagiri with, like, a really, really low-level party, but I don't know, like... okay, that's weird. But, yeah, if you did that, you either, like, prove you could beat Amenosagiri at that really low level, so you'll probably be fine here. Because everything in here is, like, definitely easier than Amenosagiri. It's not a particularly hard dungeon. It's just unique. And again, like, no deadline at all. And we're not allowed to go to town or back home. So, that's the other thing. You don't have the opportunity to buy items or sell items for more money. And that makes the compendium really, really interesting here.
Let's go.
All the money that you're going into this place with, that's how much you have. That's basically your compendium budget for this entire trip. So if you don't like your personas that you have going into this, you don't really have a lot of opportunities to get more ones, at least from the Velvet Room. But Shuffle Time is still a thing. And if you get some personas in Shuffle Time, you can fuse them together to make others for free, and you can quite easily get good personas that way. I think we've seen this before. But it's taking on a whole different meaning now. Yeah, those poems were actually foreshadowing. We laughed about it at the time, but yeah. Their meaning was a lot darker than we may have thought. Also, the fox came here. We can use the fox to heal, but again, be careful when healing, because the money that you've got is all you're going to get here. And yeah, if you check the save screen, this place is called Grave of Hollow Memories. Now we just need to choose our party for our venture into this place, and I'm going to bring Teddy. And yeah, not only does he have a great connection to what Marie's going through, but we also haven't shown off his new persona, and his ultimate skill is actually kind of useful here. As for other characters, well, we haven't actually really shown off Takahaya Susanoo yet. And other than that, I think we've actually shown off every other Awakened persona. Yeah, of this group, Naoto needs experience the most, so let's bring her. And other than setting my persona to Norn for the double auto skills, I don't need to make any additional preparations, and you'll see why once we go in. So here's the gimmick of this dungeon. We don't get to bring any of our own items. And that also makes it so that no matter what you go in here with, you always have an equal chance of finishing it. We haven't got through all of the gimmicks of this place. You might also notice that our weapons are different, and we don't even have our costumes. If we check our equipment screen, everyone is armed with just strange weapons. With very disturbing descriptions. Yep, we're not actually getting anything better than these. We also have generic armor with only 1 defense and 1 evasion. And a parting stone for our accessory, which gives us back a little bit of SP every turn. It's actually better than a lot of accessories we could have. And yep, we have nothing but our default clothing. You know what they say about graves? You can't take it with you. Speaking of which, we don't have any money either. Don't worry, you'll get all of your money and items back once you go back to the entrance. You just can't bring them into this place. Huh, these signs look a little familiar, as do these desks, but they're intermixed with what appear to be coffins. And we also have these. These are the kind of ropes that are often used in traditional Japanese shrines to seal off sacred places or forbidden areas. We'll have to cut the rope to continue through, and it turns out there are shadows hiding inside the ropes.
So that one's weak to darkness.
I should also mention that in my first playthrough, I got a hardcore Rosette fan in this dungeon, so I'm hoping that I'll repeat that this time.
It's weak to ice. This'll be easy.
So this thing looks really cool. I love how it has scroll work on its tongue. It's creepy but awesome at the same time. But it's weak to pretty much everything. Be careful though. You don't want to go full ham here. This is a first encounter is actually a perfect example of what this dungeon is trying to tempt you into doing. And I'm gonna fall for it deliberately just to make a point. There's a broken Juness sign in the background there. Now we still have shuffle time. But, okay, I want to pick a money card just to demonstrate something, even though it's, well, not the best thing to pick here. The money you gain from battle increased! Yay! We've got a multiplier on nothing. Yep, you don't gain any money in these fights. You also don't get much experience here, and personally I like this because it helps you not get too overleveled. The enemies in here aren't really that much of a step up from Adachi's dungeon, so you don't really want to be any higher than 77, 78 at this point, which is what we're going in with. So there are no shadows during the floors, instead they're in the ropes, and also, yeah, look at our HUD there. This is the other gimmick of this place. So, I like to think this place is just so, like, such a sad place that it physically drains you just being here. After every battle you fight, your SP is halved. Also, we can get some interesting items here too. Lightning Bell will deal some electricity damage to an enemy. That'll help us damage enemies with weaknesses without needing to use SP, because SP is kind of at a premium here.
Protect me, Kozeon!
Rise can restore a little bit of SP to you sometimes via her battle abilities. However, her Relaxing Wave and Stamina Song abilities, not really super useful here.
It's so puny. Use electricity on it.
As you can see, a lot of enemies here are weak to many elements, but the question is, will you even be able to use those elements? Because you'll soon find yourself quickly running out of SP. I guess I can, well, Brave Blade something and then, I guess, pass my turn over to someone else. I don't want Yosuke to take all of the brunt of this. Yeah, you might notice that I'm actually restoring more SP than usual. It's because I have Invigorate 3 on Norn here in addition to my stone. That's actually part of why I kept that skill on Norn. But if worse comes to worse, you may have to rely on basic, you're weak to ice. I can try out Naoto's new Bufudine. Basic attacks here. And you also have access to your teammates' follow-up attacks and team-up attacks. And all of those cost no SP, so rely on those if, well, I mean, you'll always have access to the team-up attacks, but not necessarily the follow-up attacks, although Teddy will always have his because his social link is plot-based. This is also kind of one of the few areas in the game where all-out attacks are actually kind of decent, I find. Also, half experience, that's absolutely nothing here. Because, you know, we're not getting much experience anyway. And always try to change coin cards if you can. So, there's only one type of enemy in this place that drops money. And I'm hoping I run into it eventually. Oh, hey, we got to level up on Norn. Not that it really matters all that much because she's learned all of her skills and her stats really aren't the best. So, the reason why we actually regain SP is that we have these accessories, the parting stones. If worse comes to worse, you may have to just get into a battle and just stall a whole bunch of turns defending to recover your SP. Some people don't like this dungeon for that reason, but other people like it for just the reason that, you know, you've got to be careful of your SP here. Grief Stone. That is an upgrade on the Parting Stone. That's going to restore 12 SP. Now, in general, your goal with these items is to... Not all of the ropes contain shadows, by the way. Your goal is to get enough SP that you can use just one basic spell for free every battle. And that way, you basically break even. You don't need to worry about the SP halving after battle, because you'll always have exactly enough to cast just one major spell. Well, that's new.
It's weak to fire. This'll be easy.
I do like the kind of traditional Japanese aesthetic that this dungeon has, but like, for example, right now, Yosuke has, yeah, he needs a lot more items in order to make up the cost of Magarodine. At least he gets a chance to shine here a little bit, thanks to his agility being off the charts. He's going first here most of the time. Also, did I say this before, but you're going to be hearing Time to Make History a lot in this dungeon. Now, I'm pretty sure the cup card effect takes place before your SP gets halved after the battle, so it's only going to be a very small effect. Icebreaker. You want to try and get as many item drops as possible in this dungeon, because they're your only source of items. In fact, I forgot to explain another item we got earlier. The Sacred Branch is a Goho M. So once you go into this place, you'll need a Sacred Branch to get out, so you'll have to fight some enemies until you find one. Now, see these things, Icebreaker, Windbreaker, they use the break skills on one enemy. I would recommend saving them. I mean, they're not going to be useful now, because pretty much every enemy is weak to just about everything, and they don't have any immunities. Oh, that's a cool looking machine. But yeah, weak to a lot of things, no immunities. Yeah, not something worth using those items on. But I will just say, I recommend that you keep those items until... I want to try something here, actually. That you keep those items and don't use them on random encounters. I'll just say that for now. Trust me, that will be important later. Now, I'm going to just try out how much a mind-charged attack from Kaguya does, and then I'll also try out, yeah, I already can't even use Shield of Justice, how much a mind-charged Niflheim from Loki does in comparison, because I kind of want to compare them. Now, I guess now might be a good time to actually try out Kamui Miracle. This has a chance of fully restoring the party's HP and SP, making it one of the very few ways you can heal your SP in this dungeon. Yep, I got it first try, okay then. So yeah, as you can see, it's normally not a great skill. Well, I'm gonna have to remove that if I want to attack with Kaguya. Yosuke, you take this one. This is where us draining our elements comes in handy. But, like, yeah, as you can see, like, it's normally, like, I fully admit, it's not the best, but I like to keep Kamui Miracle just for this dungeon, because it's actually really useful here. I also love using Kaguya in this dungeon. Okay, so 578. Now I kind of want to... actually show how much Mind's charged Bufudine. Oh, I don't even have the, of course, I have the weird gun, so I don't actually have access to, you know, Naoto's ice-boosting weapon. Okay, now I'm gonna try out Mind Charge Niflheim with Ice Amp from Loki. Yeah, it's less. So, well, I mean, Kaguya has higher magic and is higher level, but still. Ooh, no items is not a very good effect in here. Also, you do want to take chest keys when you can, because you've lost all of your chest keys going in here, and there are gold chests in this dungeon. Yes, I was just saying that. Yeah, that's kind of Captain Obvious there. That's kind of why you might want to fight a lot of enemies if you can. Another Sacred Branch, and that's everything for this floor. Gonna go ahead and switch back to Norn, because, yeah, and I got a few more of those stones, so I'll share those around. Also, we have these Centaur Petals, which can restore some SP in a pinch. The stairs in this place look really interesting. And because all the floors are named like memories of something, I don't even know if we're going up or down in this place. So in this one, you can cut the ropes and not get attacked. Yes, we are going down, but we're climbing these weird strands. It's kind of a strange place, but also just with the music and the whole atmosphere. TV Tropes has a trope called Bleak Level, and I think this dungeon really fits that. This dungeon's also just kind of a nice balancing game of whether you fight enemies for items, but also remember that effectively costs you half your SP. Again, as long as you keep some SP on Teddy for Kamui Miracle, assuming you have it, you do technically have infinite SP here, so you can kind of cheese the dungeon that way. And I'm sort of okay with that. Okay then.
That's my true strength.
But yeah, like I said, it's actually... I kind of like it because it gives Kamui Miracle a bit of a niche that it wouldn't, you know, otherwise have. Random effect skills like that are usually not that good. Another Grief Stone. I guess we can equip the whole party with those now. And yeah, even the characters not in your party still lose all of their equipment and have to rely on the dungeon's drops. So yes, as I was saying, this dungeon was actually designed by the creators of the battle system of Shin Megami Tensei's Strange Journey. So that's kind of interesting to some people. There's a lot of fans who don't like this place, not least of all because it involves Marie, and I'll get to that later, but to me it reminds me of those post-game dungeons in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon that reset your level and take away your stuff. Now, I actually think it would be really, really cool if this place did reset you to level 1, but yeah, I get that would have probably been hard to program in a game like this. Oh, okay. Now, shadows in gold chest can be nope, no hands.
Careful, it's immune to physical attacks.
There is a hand-type enemy in this dungeon.
Physical attacks won't work. What a pain.
These things do look pretty cool, though, although, you know, we're all a little bit bad in terms of SP. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a Kamui Miracle.
This fight's not over.
I have never heard you guys attack before. I didn't realize you went... Yes, I'll leave you with that. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we hadn't damaged them anyway, so that was fine. I'll go for one more. Yeah, it's really unreliable, and it does cost a lot of SP, but... if your gamble pays off, you do get all your SP back. Hey, there we go, got it. As long as you're fighting enemies that aren't that big of a threat to you, you generally get a lot of opportunities to spam Kamui Miracle. I don't know if like a lot of people use this in this dungeon.
Yosuke-senpai
Keep it up, Yosuke!
No way.
Persona!
These enemies might actually be decent ones to use attack items on because they require SP to kill. And they drop those Dortakus. And we also get an item out of the gold chest, an Ice Joy, which makes you resistant to ice, so that will be useful for Yukiko. Still has 1 defense, though. You can get even better things out of the gold chest later. In fact, I'd probably recommend that you save your chest keys for the later floors. Because there you can potentially get, you can get joys that repel elements. If you beat some of the hands, you can also get drain joys, which is pretty cool. Pain Stone. Yeah, everything in here has very angsty names. Yeah, I'll take that chest key. Definitely want to go for some of those chests later on. Oh, hey, someone actually leveled up in here. That's pretty rare, as I hinted at earlier. I think now it's time to move on to another floor. You guys never experienced these outside of the ones you forgot from Persona Q. Yeah, so this is another thing that some people just also don't like about this place. A lot of people have a very hard time, like, the fact that Marie's poems are kind of supposed to be overly melodramatic and so bad it's good when you first hear them, and now suddenly they come back and have a much darker meaning. Some of them work better for it than others, I will admit. Like, the first one, I got chills with the one on the first floor, because that is just so accurate to what Marie's going through right now, and we never really realized at all. But the ones with, like, Marmalade Muffin, that one admittedly is a little harder to justify in this context, so I can kind of see why some people would get annoyed at that. It does just kind of play into, it's similar to what I was talking about with Nanako during Heaven, in that in order for the game to succeed in making you feel bad and about someone being in danger and wanting to help them,
I should work well.
this is actually kind of an interesting thing, because it looks like, no, that is, apart from that branch, that is the regalia of Japan. It's the mirror, the sword, and the jewel. So yeah, that's actually kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of the enemies in here are weak to a whole bunch of elements just to encourage you to use your SP. I might try and give Teddy this one, actually.
It's my turn.
Oh, hey.
You guys, huh?
Well,
Take this.
I don't think we've seen that one before. I love that. That is probably my favorite cavalry attack, just because Kanji just, I forgot you weren't weak to wind. Kanji just rides in on his bike, and then he just slams the bike into the ground and creates a shockwave. That's pretty cool. But yeah, what I was saying is, like, so apparently, we can still carry bikes into this place, just nothing else.
3 remaining. Precisely. It's showtime. Are you ready? Are you ready?
But back to what I was saying, there's a lot of people really hate Marie. Like, this is kind of something that I felt that I had to go into right now. I don't want to go into it too heavily because I don't want to kill the mood of this dungeon. I do really like the whole concept of this place, and I do think that in general, like, what this dungeon represents is actually something very soul-crushingly depressing. I'll get into that even later. But I do have to address the Marie issue, I feel. I've gone into this a few times, but I think one of the primary culprits is that Marie is a new character. And not only is she a new character, but they added her to an existing story and made her very important within that existing story. It's very hard to pull that off well. When you just introducing someone new and suddenly say, oh hey, this character's actually really important, and basically the center of everything now. Huh, all allies down doesn't affect people who are guarding. I never knew that. That's interesting. So I guess if you have everyone guard before you use Kamui Miracle, in fact, I'm pretty sure that the all allies suffer from status ailments wouldn't affect allies who are guarding either, so That's actually not a bad tactic if you're just spamming Kamui Miracle for SP. Have everyone else guard, it should mitigate the worst effects of it. Besides, all enemies recover all HP, but if you use that at the start of a fight, then that's not too bad either. Another Sacred Branch. Seems like they really want us to get out of here. I mean, I'm sure Marie actually wants us to turn back and not save her, so she must be giving us the branches. And I might have to stop my tangent about Marie, because I'm pretty sure we're very soon going to hit a major cutscene point of this place. Oh, we've got the guts to save you, alright? This one seems very conflicted. It's like she wants to push you away, but then she says she wants to dance. Yeah, also ramen. This place is also called Memories of Sorrow? Is she sad about her time at Juness? So yeah, this is another one of those rope floors. Are you guys going to be anything we haven't fought before? Well, that is.
Nice. There's an It's weak to ice. This'll be easy.
It's a pretty cool looking fan, but Superstitious Okina, which I think is actually just Japanese for old man. Okay, weak to that and wind, and I'm pretty sure the ravens are also weak to wind, so Yosuke is actually pretty effective in these early floors. Oh, of course you have an evade skill for your weakness.
It's not going down.
Good move, Naoto-kun.
Oh, Naoto's dodge animation is pretty cool. You know what? I'm going to go for Kamui Miracle again, just because. Yep, let's see. I kind of want all ally status because that gives me more of an opportunity for... Okay, someone got status, but it wasn't us.
Someone else's turn.
More of an opportunity for Rise to have more navigator quotes.
Go get him. Go.
But I guess this will give me more time to resume talking about Marie. Yeah, it's always hard to do. I think one of the few times I've actually really liked a new character that was added to an existing story was Maruki in Persona 5. If you've watched my video on my thoughts on that game, you'll know that, to me, it feels like Maruki was always part of that story. He just fits in so naturally. Oh, you guys, I think I know... Wait, Snowfall Musha, I don't think you're... Nope, okay, there's a different Musha that I was thinking about. Neutral to everything, and you have Black Spots and Rebellion, so you're going to crit us quite often. And yeah, I fully understand why a lot of people might not like Marie all that much. She is quite a harsh tsundere at times, and that can be a very hard archetype to like. Like I've said before that personally I find tsunderes hilarious, but not everyone does, and I still really felt that for the most part, I never really felt like Marie went into the whole sort of mean-spirited bullying tsundere. Except in like rank 7 and 8 of her social link, but that was the point when she was really at rock bottom about her memories. She just felt like there was no chance of her ever recovering anything, and she was just so frustrated and angry about everything. And she was lashing out, but then again, that is what people tend to do. Like, oftentimes when we're angry or frustrated, sadly, we do lash out at people around us, and yeah, oftentimes it causes us to say things that we don't really mean, or... Well, yeah, I guess we can't go that way. I actually think this is a fixed floor as well, and I think there is also a mini-boss here, and the mini-boss comes with absolutely no warning. I think it's somewhere in the top right-hand corner of the map. You need to pass by it, I think, to get to the end of the floor. Okay, we're getting very low on Teddy SP, so come on, Kamui Miracle. There are actually 2 mini-bosses in this dungeon. No, everyone down.
Should we show him who's boss? Okay.
Okay, all-out attack with everyone except Teddy. Because, yeah, it's impossible for Teddy to guard while he's using Kamui Miracle, so he'll always knock himself down. But, yeah, having everyone else guard is not necessarily a bad... Ouch, yeah, Teddy got hit pretty hard by that one. Not necessarily a bad tactic when spamming Kamui Miracle. I'm learning new things about this game every day. Okay, and then we get an all-out attack. This is the weirdest way to all-out attack something. Yeah, usually if the camera angle stays like that, though, you know that you've got somebody going down. If the camera angle pans over to your party, then you've got a full heal. I guess my luck with that has kind of run out at this point, but, I don't know, I can try it, but I might not want to bore you with the fights where I do constantly attempt it, because, yeah, it is not exactly the best thing to watch. Here, you've really got to pick your battles, or pick your ropes. Obviously, right here, we know exactly where this path leads, so I'm not going to bother cutting that one, just in case it's more shadows. So, let's just continue on. It looks like there's something leading to a chest over here. And I had a feeling it'd be enemies. Oh, I really like this hand.
It's so puny. Use electricity on it.
It's like an armored knight's hand that is just really cool looking to me. It reminds me of the War Masters in Link Between Worlds. I have Trumpeter for Zio.
Enemy down. Nice move, senpai.
And I guess we can just kind of not finish these things off with a rush because, yeah, Mega Doll On is not exactly the best thing to be using here. That's a lot of SP. That thing has pretty bad defense, though. Why not? This is just the episode of Kamui Miracles. Okay, then. I'll take that. I mean, I suppose one other thing about Marie and what does, yeah, some people find annoying about her is that she also is kind of teased as a major love interest despite being introduced later. Which actually leads me to another interesting point. It's about, somebody on a blog once actually pointed out, a very surprisingly accurate description of the Atlas re-release formula. And that is, new girl, new dungeon involving new girl, which, of course, you targeted the one person didn't guard, and Teddy turned into an old man. Or rather, an old, moldy, stuffed animal. Yeah, that was definitely a fail.
I can't remember.
Sadly, we don't get to hear them acting like old mans as much as they did in the anime.
Weird. You should help him.
Okay, that's at least one more quote for Risei, though. I really hope that I get, I don't have any status cures, do I? I do think I have Reader on Sandalphon, though. Alternatively, I could just finish this fight before, you know, things get, any more dangerous. Sorrow Stone is new. So yes, new girl, new dungeon involving new girl, and new story content involving completing the new dungeon. And, like, the formula has been around even since Persona 3 FES, if you count Aigis as the new girl, because she wasn't a social link in the original version. And if you count the Answer as her new dungeon. And it's not just Persona games that follow this formula. Catherine Full Body did this, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux did this. It's just kind of amazing how many Atlas re-releases fall into this category. Well, fitting to get this card now. I probably should have changed the money card, I just realized there was no reason not to. I mean, you know, I don't really care too much about getting Tower or Devil cards in here, because you don't really get anything at all. Yeah, I've noticed that you don't find status curing items in here, so that is actually kind of dangerous when it comes to enemies who use status ailments against you. But yeah, I guess Atlas just really wants to bank on that, hey, new waifu who dis, to quote that meme, popularity, and it didn't exactly work with Marie. I don't think, like, I think she is a little bit more popular in Japan because she's voiced by someone who's actually decently famous in Japan. Not that Eden Regal, I mean, Eden Regal's a pretty good voice actor, but apparently her voice actress in Japan has a pretty big cult following. But they definitely succeeded a lot more with Yoshizawa in Persona 5, but, you know, I've already got my thoughts on that in a My Thoughts On video if you want to see that. Just a warning, if you haven't played Persona 5, don't watch that past a certain point, because obviously there are spoilers. And I think it worked decently okay with Catherine full body. Anyway, that's not exactly like a, I mean, in a way, I personally kind of consider Catherine canon to the Persona series, but I don't know if I'll ever do a playthrough of it, because, for one, I definitely think the M rating in that case is fully justified. Like, one, it's actually pretty gory in its gameplay, and I usually don't upload those kind of games, and two, obviously, it's much heavier on sexual themes than anything else I've covered on the channel. I think it does handle it in a decent way overall. Like, it's not super gratuitous, and... But, like, again, it is not the usual kind of thing that I upload to the channel.
Someone heal him.
Well, I guess we're not doing Kamui Miracle this fight. Gigantic Fist does have a pretty high crit rate. I know I've said that at least once before, but I often forget that. I do wish you had a way of actually seeing the critical rates of skills. That is one complaint I have about, like, they don't really tell you the power of things either, but avoiding counters is useless on this floor because there's no way to avoid encounters. This is why I was mentioning when Naoto said we won't be able to avoid fighting. Yep. We absolutely cannot avoid the enemies on these floors, so what she was saying was more literal than she realized. But yeah, it is interesting to think about the re-release formula that way. But it turns out I don't think they went that direction with the Nocturne remaster, although that was just a pretty straightforward remaster and not like a full remake. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Norn just because I like my my double auto skills, because I have a feeling this might be... No, it's not. Okay, I know there's a mini-boss somewhere here, and I know that there's no warning for it, and you'll only know once you start hearing different music. I knew that would be the mini-boss! I knew it! Yeah, I had a feeling I was close. So, this guy is really interesting. This is the Gorjasu King.
Naoto-kun can't use... Oh, it's weak to physical attacks.
It's weak to physical attacks, but it still doesn't take a lot of damage from them. Now, it's quite a strange... Oh, I haven't even used Youthful Wind yet. Although we are auto-Sukakaja'd and already mostly... I guess I can heal Teddy with it.
Feel that mighty wind!
Can't believe I've forgotten to demonstrate this. It's just, you know, minor healing combined with Master Fukaja. In fact, like, something that I can just actually mention now, I can't believe I didn't realize this until people in the comments pointed this out, but most of the ultimate Persona skills of the party members in this game are actually reskinned versions of fusion skills from Persona 3. Kamui Miracle is Summer Dream. Well, I mean, I think Summer Dream has a lot of even worse effects, potentially, but the Oberon and Tatamiya fusion skill. Youthful Wind is Cadenza. Shield of Justice is Infinity from Ananta and Vishnu. I think it's Vishnu. The Man's Way is, believe it or not, Jack Bros, where Jack Frost and Pyro Jack do a stand-up comedy routine. And Chie's is the only one that's somewhat unique. It's kind of Best Friends, the Fornius and Decarabia fusion skill, except that it hits the whole party instead of just one person. Yeah, the only way to get Heat Riser in Persona 3 was as an obscure fusion skill. I'm going to try something here, actually. Sandalphon,
Can't use her persona now.
Agnyastra. Let's see how much damage this does. Yeah, barely anything. I think the gimmick of this is, it takes very little damage from physical attacks, but I think it takes a lot from all-out attacks. But it tries to prevent itself from being able to be hit with all-out attacks via summoning minions, and therefore, you know, giving you more enemies that you have to hit weaknesses of in order to get all-out attacks. However, the fact that it's quite vulnerable to Almighty makes Naruto pretty effective in this fight, since she can use Almighty attacks whenever the heck she wants. And I might do that next turn I get with her, actually. But yeah, that is pretty much the gimmick here. Do I dare... I don't think I really need that right now. I think I will actually, Kaja, or do I just... I guess I can just do another physical attack. I hope you like sitting through everyone's critical animations, because you'll be seeing them a lot here.
Is everyone ready? Get set.
It's an interesting idea for a mini-boss. Also, you might have noticed that it used Spirit Drain earlier. The other gimmick with this guy is that it has Mind Charge and Megadolon, but it doesn't have enough SP to cast those normally, so it relies on draining your SP, and once it's drained enough, it'll then start spamming Mind Charge and Megadolon, putting kind of a bit of a timer on the fight. So as you can see here, Yosuke has a little bit more work to do if he wants to get an all-out attack here. However, I can Gorodime this and use an electric damaging item on the baby. That's a weird sentence.
Keep it up, Yosuke!
Okay, let me... Yeah, the Dortakus are, what Bronzong is based on in Pokemon. But no, they're, like a kind of Japanese bell, but they, I guess I can use this. They're effectively Nagatamas. And now, you can not use Brave Blade, because that'd be a complete waste, since this thing takes barely any damage from its weakness. So yeah, again, kind of the gimmick here is, you knock down all of the enemies, and then deal damage to the king that way. And also deal damage to the king this way. I would very much appreciate a Risei status cure right about now. No, that did not even come close to doing it.
Use her persona now.
Okay, I really don't want to use Yoshitsune here, but on the other hand... Oh, I don't even need to power charge, what am I saying? It's gonna take barely any damage from things. Is it? No, it's not debuff, so I'm gonna go over to, I guess, Norn for the SP regeneration. I still have a Debilitate skill card. I think I can probably use it if I go out of the dungeon, because I'll still have access to it there. At least we can still use our physical attacks while silenced. Silence doesn't prevent you from talking during all-out attack prompts, though. Yeah, I've seen some RP. I think in particular Fire Emblem. Oh yeah, wow, that came back to bite me badly during Sacred Stones. My Sacred Stones playthrough on YouTube. Yeah. I won't spoil that moment in case you haven't seen that, but yeah, I learned the hard way that in that game, silence really does mean silence. It prevents you from talking, and that means it prevents you from recruiting certain characters if you're silenced. That was interesting.
What? More of them? Gee.
Oh yeah, you're doing that strategy now. That's fine, you barely, we barely do any... Actually, no, the attack gets resolved against yourself with Reflect, so you will still take pretty much full damage. And this thing is... Okay, one of them's weak to wind, the other one is I can use another, lightning thing on it. So Bell and Dortaku, basically, small Bell and really big Japanese-style Bell. I remember when I didn't really fully know how to pronounce Raw Monkey, and so when the Pokemon Bronzong was first revealed, this is before Pokemon simultaneous releases, it was referred to as on Cerebi D-O-O Takun, and I thought it was Do Takun, but no, it's Door Takun, as in Big Dortaku. Yeah, its Japanese name isn't really all that imaginative, but
Tokun, you never lose your
I was about to say Bronzong, but yeah, I think Bronzong's a little bit more imaginative. It's definitely more imaginative than Pokemon Gen 1 Japanese names, that's for sure. Sand, fire, showers, thunder. But anyway, this guy is almost down and he's summoning his best back up, I think, and he's supporting them too. But in that case, we can go ahead and just reflect attacks into ourselves. This is where, because there are a lot of enemies in here that have Makarakan, So this is where it definitely helps to have access to your third tier personas, which drain their own elements.
Enemy down.
It's my turn, right? I won't let you down.
Okay then, let's try this.
Sonic Star!
Really? Is everyone ready? Get
Some reason I
set.
don't see that attack that often. I forgot about that voice clip. Well, okay. The king's minion is has outlived his lord.
One enemy to go.
Let's put him out of his misery now.
You hit
Just
the
realized that
enemy's weakness.
technically makes this thing Brunya from FE6.
Let's finish it.
And there we go. I'm glad that you actually get a chance to here reach out to the truth in this dungeon with the mini-boss. And with that, we can move on, and I'm pretty sure this should lead us to, yep, there are the stairs. And no encounter there, but there might be an encounter here because there's a chest behind this one. Of course. I really want to encounter the hands at least once here because it's really funny, although I think the hands can only show up in gold chests.
Look out! It's immune to physical attacks.
Counting on you.
I've noticed that Rise, we get a lot more Rise voice clips here because she tends to point out immunities before she points out weaknesses, so we haven't heard a lot of her weakness pointing out quotes. Probably because many of the late game enemies, after she starts pointing out weaknesses, have a ton of immunities. Guess I'll take another chest key. I mean, the chest keys aren't like super useful because you can't even take anything you find in this dungeon out of the dungeon, but I want to open up some gold chests later because, again, I do want to actually show off the hands because there's something kind of hilarious about them. Okay, who here doesn't have a grief stone? I guess Yukiko can take one, even though we haven't used her yet. I just love how, like, all of that whiteness in the floor is just getting sucked into this. It's a really interesting aesthetic, and I love the music here, too. She didn't say that is me. That's another one of those that really hits hard, just seeing it here. But with that, I think we've made a lot of progress in this dungeon. I'm going to go ahead and use a Sacred Branch to get out of here. You do still keep your dungeon items after leaving. And now all of our other items are back. Basically, there are separate inventories for within the Hollow Forest and outside of it. However, the SP drain is still kept, so I hope you brought a lot of money for the fox. How much are you going to charge for this? Oh, that's a lot of money. You know, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and swap out my party instead and save the fox heal for the end of the dungeon. So with that, I will see you all next time as we continue to explore the Hollow Forest of Marie's memories.